Free player. So ace 10. Ace of clubs, 10 of spades. A limp from a recreational poker player. We know this because they limped. We raise, they call. Ace, ace 7. Lovely flop. This hand features a concept called fortune reversal, which is where good things are happening and then bad things happen shortly afterwards, and you have to adjust to the loss of the good thing becoming bad. And that's easier said than done, especially when you're having a bad day. We c-bet the flop small. Villain calls. We c-bet the turn big. We could actually use an overbet here as well, especially on double flush draw. I think that might even be better. This hand can get pretty greedy. It's got an amazing kicker. It's doing incredibly well. We're getting called by 7x pocket pairs, weaker ace-x flush draws, etc. We're sometimes losing, but let's not worry about that. We go for a nice big river bet here. I think this is fine. And villain jams. Now, my first thought when I was betting the river here was just simply, this is like the easiest bet fold I've ever seen if I get jammed on. When a recreational player jams over your big river bet here, the first thing that you should do is take a step back and realize that it no longer matters that you have trips. Not in the sense that it did before. Previously, it mattered that you had trips because you were getting called by 9x of diamonds, 9x of hearts sometimes, ace-x that you beat, 7x, lots of worse hands. But these hands don't play this way. Hands that play this way are either a bluff or a hand that beats you. That means that this hand is a bluff catcher. Even against a recreational player, 9 out of 10 recreational players are not capable of jamming some random ace here. Why would they do it? It's a really horrible play. Most people are not doing that. So if only like 1 or 2 in 10 of recreationals even have it in their locker to ever like randomly spew jam with ace 8 here, you can basically say that it's happening hardly ever. Because even the people who do it have other hands in their range as well, diluting those, and most people just don't ever do it. That's how you should think about this. In terms of bluffs, while there are some busted flush draws and backdoor flush draws a villain can have, like Jack 10 of hearts, or King Queen of diamonds, or Queen 8 of hearts, or whatever it may be, these hands are incredibly, incredibly unlikely to play this way. This is a very underbluff spot. And in underbluff spots, when you have bluff catchers, you have to fold. You have to accept here that your fortunes have just reversed, and you are now against a range of probably just boats for the most part. Ace 7, ace deuce, ace 9, pocket 9s, pocket 7s, pocket deuces. This is really what you're going to see here the vast majority of the time. If I had to guess how often we win here by calling it off, I would say about 10% of the time. We need like almost 25% equity, by the way, to make this call. I don't think we're getting that. I don't think it's even close to getting that. But many of you call this spot, especially when you're having a bad day. Why? Because your willpower is depleted. You don't want to fold this hand. You just went from value betting an amazing hand to a spot where now you're faced with this, and your brain doesn't want to process that. It doesn't want to recalibrate. It doesn't want to accept that you're now in a spot where you're only beating bluffs, and bluffs are few and far between. But that's what you've got to do if you want to ascend to the level that you want to be at. You've got to be ruthlessly objective with yourself here. And you have to say, this isn't about me. This is about the hand. If you make this about you, like, oh, I can't fold this great hand again. Like, they can't have it every time. This isn't fair. Woe is me. Like, if they got it, they got it. It's a cooler. It's a fish. You could be doing anything. If you go down this rabbit hole and you make it about you and your misfortune, you're going to end up calling here out of self-pity, and you're going to hate yourself for it, and it's going to just reaffirm this constant loop of making big mistakes in big pots because you don't have the strength, the inner fortitude, and the willpower to reassess the situation. I folded here. I love this fold. You definitely have to make it. Villain actually showed me his hand. It's really kind when they do that. Not surprised at all to see a7. I think 90% of the ranges, ace 7, ace 9, ace deuce, deuces, 7s, 9s. Basically.